With that, I would like to invite our organizing chair for tonight's event, DTM Dr. 𝗂𝗲𝗺𝗕𝗂𝗶, for his welcoming address.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the evening, 𝗕𝗂𝗶𝗵. Now, when we think of organizing a contest, many things goes through our minds. So today we are having this session where I welcome you all to attend a session wherein we learn a lot about organizing a contest. Now, contest season is coming, and many of you think twice, should I take up the contest chair? I don't know how to go about it. Or if you take the contest chair, there are many areas where you feel conflicted, and especially when the contestant comes and say, am I eligible, or is this going to be okay, and various questions that as a contest chair or the organizing chair for the contest that you might be dealing with. Now, we have gathered this session together. We got this session together to ensure that all of you learn on how to organize a contest and effectively, because these contests are now going to be physical, especially from area and division level. So we still have a bit of online perhaps for the clubs perhaps, but at the same time we have a lot of things that changes that has taken place, and we're going to learn all that. I'm really looking forward to this, and I welcome all of you who are attending this session, and I hope many of you would be taking up the role of contest chair soon. With that, let's have a wonderful session. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you so much, DTM Dr. 𝗂𝗲𝗺𝗕𝗂𝗶. Now, I would like to actually, our PQD DTM 𝗂𝗲𝗵𝗺 couldn't join us in person, but he sent us a video for his opening address. I would like Dr. 𝗂𝗲 to please share that, please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of District 102. I'm sending this video all the way from the United States of America. Thank you so much for making your time to attend Organize Your Contest Effectively workshop organized by Team Program Quality. Thank you for Dr. 𝗂𝗲 for taking your time to organize this workshop, and this is one of the workshops recommended by you, the members of District 102. Thank you, and keep your recommendations coming, because I want to try my level best to do as many workshops that is beneficial for you, whether it's with Toastmasters or beyond Toastmasters. I want to try to give as many workshops, as many educational workshops for you. Thank you to our speaker today, Kishan, for spending your time to conduct this workshop. I truly appreciate it. Naslama on me when I come back from the United States. I hope you guys enjoy this workshop, learn and apply the skills taught by our very experienced speaker. And most importantly, remember the skills that we learn organizing contests can be applied in the future when we are being called to organize events, organize competitions in the future outside of Toastmasters. This will be a very good platform for you to learn the skills. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoy this workshop, and most importantly, remember to have fun, ask a lot of questions, and stay safe, everyone. Take care, and I love you guys as always.
I hope that we are able to have a great session today. So with that, let's move on to the much awaited session of tonight. We all know that a well-delivered speech can inspire, but behind every successful Toastmasters contest lies something equally powerful: effective organization. Good planning ensures fairness, smooth flow, and professional experience both for contestants and audience. Today's workshop on organizing contests effectively will guide us in mastering this vital skill so that every contest we host leaves a lasting impact. To guide us here today, I would like to invite a speaker for tonight. He's a well-known name in the Toastmasters community, distinguished Toastmaster Kishan Doshi. He's an experienced and dedicated Toastmaster who began his journey in 2018 as a charter member for his club. Since then, he has held multiple leadership positions across the organization, actively participating in speech contests and serving as a contest chair. as well as the contest judge. His notable contributions includes acting as the chief judge for the district level contest and leading the organization of division level events. In this session, DTM Kishan will provide a comprehensive overview of contest mechanics, drawing from his first-hand experience as an organizer as well as a chief judge to help us confidently manage and execute a successful Toastmaster contest. With that, please join me in welcoming our speaker for tonight, DTM Kishan Doshi.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Pia. And to everyone who's here, good evening. Happy Monday to everyone. Now, before I get started with my presentation, I need to get a feel of the crowd, right? So I'd like you guys to use the different reaction buttons that are available, right? So what I'd like you guys to do first is if you have already organized the contest before, can you give me a thumbs up or you can give me a like in the reactions? So Dr. Som, Claire has also organized before. Only 2 people. I'm sure that there's quite a few people here who have organized the contest before. Okay,
Carolyn,
all right.
Pia.
Thank you very much, Dr. Som. Okay, so we have a decent mix of a crowd here. Now, when it comes to what I want to share today, it's like what Pia has said, right? I want to help all of you to be as good as a contest chair as you can possibly be. So in the next 45 minutes, what I'd like to do is to walk you through the different parts of the contest. So the before, the during, the after, and one of the more critical parts, which is actually how do you build your team? How do you handle eligibility? And then what do you need to do after the contest is over? And then towards the end, we'll talk a little bit about my own personal tips when how to be as best as a judge as you can possibly be during this contest cycle. Now, I've said all this already. A bit about me, like what Pia said, my home club is 𝗕𝗂𝗵 IT Services. And in the 7 years I've been in Toastmasters now, it's not that I was very gung-ho about doing all of this. I'm just a person who has a lot of trouble trying to say no to many good friends. So when I was AD, my DVD told me, Kishan, please be my successor. I said, okay. Afterwards, I was approached by our then DD, Kishan, please be our annual conference chair. I clearly have a very bad pattern of not being able to say no to my friends. Another thing that makes me uniquely qualified today is that I love to go through the contest rulebook because I like to contest as well. I love contesting, especially even in the table topics segment. And so I always go through the rule book in order to know what has changed so that I am prepared when it's time for contests. So a little disclaimer as we go through my slides. I wanted this to be as accurate as possible. I will share this as well at the end. But what you can expect is that whenever there's any explicit rules, I'm only referring to the 2025-2026 contest rulebook. And how you can then look it up is that I have put this little square white box where I put the title of the contest rulebook. So a hint in Toastmasters, Toastmasters International likes to use these 4 to 5 digit numbers for all the different PDFs that you can download. And so the unique number for the speech contest rulebook is 1171. So this number is always the same to find the latest version of the contest rulebook. So to make it easy, it's 1171, page 5. You'll find the particular rule that I am referring to. So as we go into the rulebook, something important that I want everyone to understand is that anything where it is explicitly stated in the rulebook, so it is literally written what you must do, you must do. Because in order to modify, to say that you don't want to follow those rules, there's a actual process that you have to do together with headquarters in order to get permission to do so. And that is usually a very lengthy process. I recommend that it's best to follow all the explicitly stated rules. Anything that doesn't have this little white box that I've put here in the slides, that's just my recommendations, and that's my best practices from my own experience. Now, how do you know you have the latest version of the contest rulebook? Always two hints. Number one, if you look at the bottom of the rulebook, you always see that they will put the date. So in this case, July 1st, 2025 until June 30th, 2026. Another hint, you'll always find the picture of last year's winner of the World Championship of Public Speaking. So in this case, this is 𝗲𝗂𝗧𝗲 𝗵𝗏𝗧. She won the international speech of the World Championship of Public Speaking last year. And so then her face features on the front cover of the speech contest rulebook. Speaking of the book, I have to tell you, this book is going to be your absolute best friend throughout contest season. Why do I say this? When you read this rule book, it has all the answers to all the questions you can typically expect. People will ask you, how do you know if someone is eligible? They will ask you, what are new rules that have shown up in the contest rule book? And so I always recommend that when you read through the rule book, and if you're only there to look for the new rules, always look out for the diamond icon. What do I mean by the diamond icon? Let me switch over to this window instead, and we can have a look at what I mean by the diamond icon. You can see right here on the page number 5. And at this point, I'd like to ask for the help of the organizing team to please put the link to the document in the chat so that everyone can also view this document themselves. You will always find this diamond icon always on the leftmost side of the page. And so this diamond means that something has changed in this rule, or this is a new rule. So for example, when you look at this, what has changed? As far as I can tell, what has changed specifically is actually just a little bit of wording cleanup that they did over here. Something else that's also changed, because I've read the past rule book, is that they now mention annual conference event and an October-November event, which I believe some districts, they will have 2 conferences a year. So this could be just for them. So how often should you read this rule book? My personal recommendation is 3 times. The first time is when you have been appointed as the contest chair. So make sure to read it at least once in order to know how many role players you need to find. The second time is 1 week before the contest. Hopefully, the first and second time is not the same time. I hope that you receive more than 1 week's notice before you're asked to be the contest chair. And finally, the third and final time, I recommend reading it again on the day of the contest. Why do I want you to read this, or why do I suggest that you should read this? It's 33 pages, I know. But when you read it, you start to remember half the book. When you read it again 1 week before the contest, you remember a little bit more of the book. And then on the day of the contest, you remember a bit more than what you did at the beginning. So each time you read through the book, you retain a bit more that information, or you can remember a bit more than what you could last time. So I always strongly advise to everyone, have a read through the book, because when you have it in your head, it becomes easier for you to answer questions that anyone may have. If you're the type of person that prefers a physical book, don't be afraid to print out the book, the contest rule book, and have it on hand. There's no rule that says you cannot do that. Whatever works for you, so that you know how to come and find this document when you need it. Now, I have gone through the document myself. I found a couple of changes that I believe are more relevant to everyone here. And once again, I have placed each of the pages that you'll find this particular change inside on the right side here. So if you look over here, you'll see page 25. That's where you'll find this note about contestant eligibility. So something that I found interesting was that they now say that the contest chair must check for eligibility. How can you do that? I'll talk about it later on. Only time disqualifications are announced in contests. Now in District 102, this has always been the norm for us. We have never announced other types of disqualifications. But I guess in other districts, this may have happened. So then now they are explicitly saying that they only want time disqualifications to be announced. As a contest chair, they also want you to address any protests. Now, as a contest chair, your role when it comes to protests is to inform the chief judge. The chief judge is the one who then has to bring the judges together, discuss the merits of the protest, and then the judges will decide what's the outcome of that protest. So that is mainly a role of the chief judge. So your role, as I understand it from the rule book, is just to make sure that the chief judge has already addressed the protest. And like what Dr. Som has alluded to at the beginning, the rule books has now explicitly stated in page 7 and 8 that each contestant must be physically present. And for all contest officials, you must also be physically present for the contest that you're serving. What this means is that when it comes to the organization and competition, you must go back to physical. But this only applies, as it says over here, it only applies beyond the club level. So at the club level, if you are the contest chair, you can still choose to do it on Zoom. But if you are organizing for an area contest or a division contest, you will have to do this in person. So if you have any questions, feel free to give them to the question master and also to put that into the chat. At the end of this, at the end of my session, we'll have a 15-minute Q&A. And after we officially close the event, I will also stay on if anyone has more questions that you'd like to get my thoughts or to clarify on. So we'll go to a very fun topic, eligibility. Now, when people talk about eligibility, what do they mean? The first thing is this member in good standing. Now, and that's why the first item that's always here is whether the member is a paid member in the club or the area that they are competing. And then the club must also be in good standing. And that all membership dues are current with world headquarters. Now, this is a very important sticking point 6 weeks from now. Because 6 weeks from now is 1st of October. And 1st of October is when the first round of membership dues for the term is due. And so if you are a contest chair who is organizing a contest after October, I advise you to pay special attention to this first rule. If you are organizing somewhere in the next 6 weeks before October 1st, usually everyone is already an eligible member, so you don't have to worry about this. That being said, there are times where you have to, as a contest chair, make very hard decisions here. Myself personally, I have had a discussion when I was an area director with a member whose membership dues were not paid. Now, the reason their membership dues were not paid was that they were with a corporate club. And so corporate clubs usually have a lengthy process when it comes to renewals. And so my club was a corporate club, and this was the other corporate club in the area. And so it was a very hard discussion where one day before, I was pressing for that member to show us any form of evidence to tell us that my company has already made payment for me. And unfortunately, they couldn't give us that evidence. And because of that, I have no choice but to mark the contestant as ineligible. And I think some of you are probably thinking it's a very heartless decision to do. I can agree, it is a very hard decision, and to some extent, I feel very bad about it. But the other thing about eligibility is always the second item, which is that a contestant must maintain eligibility at all levels of any contest. So if you come back to my situation, this was during the humorous speech and table topics contest. If he had won at the area level, at the division level, if they found out he was ineligible at the area level, he would have been disqualified for contesting at the division level. And if, let's say, he made it to the district level and then they discovered that this person was not eligible, they are also disqualified from participating in the district contest. And so then the next eligible runner-up has to step in. And so it's a very hard place that you put yourself in when someone who is ineligible goes up, because you deprive the chance for someone who was eligible to contest. Now, that being said, I strongly urge everyone, double check whether your members are in good standing. To do so, there's the eligibility assistant. Now, the eligibility assistant is a feature within the Toastmaster portal. This particular tool is, you have to log in to use it. One thing I will point out is that I am a regular club member, so I am not able to see anyone else's eligibility beyond myself. So if I choose check myself and search, at the bottom here, it will show you that my membership is current. Fantastic. It's always when you want to do the demonstration that the page decides it needs to reload. Nevertheless, if in order to then check for eligibility of all your contestants, you can instead ask for help from your area director if it's an area contest, or the division director if it's a division contest, because the district officers are able to see the eligibility of all members in their respective area, respective division, or respective district. Otherwise, if the district officers are not available, you ask for help from the club exco to take a screenshot of that eligibility and send it to you. Now, that is for contestants. There is also the demand that contest officials must also be eligible. Now, there is no clear definition of what is a contest official. But what I found, I had to dig through the book, and I found that there is a very vague, and I tell you upfront, it's a very vague reference that basically tells that all official roles are considered as contest officials. So any role player you pick up is a contest official. So they must be a paid member, they must be physically present. And important thing to watch out, candidates for district leader positions for the next term are not eligible. Now, the best way to go through this is to go through some examples. So I've got one scenario here that I'd like everyone to have a read. So I, Kishan, intend to compete in the Area C2 HSTT contest. My membership's up to date and the club is in good standing. However, on the 18th of August, today, I presented a session about organizing contests effectively on behalf of the district. So, question number 1, can I contest? What does everyone think?
Can.
Okay, what's your reasoning, Vinotini?
You can contest because what you have, good evening, distinguished Toastmaster Kishan. Absolutely, you can contest from my viewpoint because you are presenting on behalf of district, and I believe you're not serving the district as a district officer. So from that context, I believe you can contest as a contestant.
Thank you for your explanation, Vinotini. Does anyone else have any other thoughts? Let me just check the chat. Let's see if anyone has it. I see a couple of yes. So the answer is yes, I can contest. And it's just like what Vinodini said. This is not an official district position. I'm here as a trainer in order to help all of you. So therefore, I'm allowed to contest. So lightning question. So does that mean that I can be a contest official as well? What does everyone think? Yes, no, maybe so? How about Carolyn? Carolyn, do you think that since I can be a contestant, can I be a contest official?
Yes. Oh no, if you are contesting, you cannot be the contest official.
Very, very sharp, Carolyn. Well done. Yes, if I am contesting, obviously I cannot be the contest official, but if not, everything is all good. Now, let's try something a bit more tricky.
Sorry to interject, DTM Kishan. May I ask if, from my understanding, I cannot contest and I cannot be the contest official at the same time for the same contest. So let's say in a club A, I'm contesting and I'm volunteering myself to become a contest official in a different club. That can happen, right? From that context, I can be the contestant and contest official, right?
It can happen. And if you like, let me give that explanation in the Q&A session. But yes, that's actually correct. Now, for this question, so I am the CTM for district contest. My membership's up to date. I'm in good standing. 2 months before the district contest, I've put up a nice Facebook page, and I now tell that I'm running for the club growth director position. The DCM, where the election is being held, was 1 week before the district contest, and unfortunately, I lost. So, am I still allowed to be the CTM for the HSTT contest? Mr. Ramu, sir, what do you think?
I think you have to excuse yourself because there's a conflict of interest, even though the time zone is 1 week away. That will be more professional.
Thank you very much for that, Ramu.
What your rule book says, because I've not read all the rules.
That's what I will explain now.
But you're a CTM only, right? Kishan Doshi, you're a CTM, not the contestant, right?
I'm a CTM, definitely not a contestant.
I think you can, because you're for a CTM you can be, but for a contestant you cannot contest. This is the opinion.
So 𝗓𝗫𝗓 in the chat actually has the right answer, right? Yes, even if I win the CGD role. Now, why is that the case? Because if you come, what the rule book says, right, is that candidates for elected positions are ineligible to serve as an official. So the key word here is that you are a candidate for the position. If you come back to the quiz that I put here, right, the DCM, where the election happens, was 1 week before the district contest. And it doesn't matter whether I lost the election or if I won the election. I now go from candidate to CGD elect, or I go from candidate to regular member. And because of that, I can be a contest official. Now, it comes back to what Mr. Ramu said. It is very ungentlemanly to do that. So my personal recommendation is that if you have those intentions, you should not, because even though it is okay by the book, it does leave a bit of a sour taste in many people's mouth. At least in District 102, this is how we have perceived it. So the rule book says you can, but then my personal opinion, I feel you should not. Now, final quiz question. I successfully became the Club Growth Director of District 9999. My membership's up to date. Oh, sorry, I forgot to rename some of the names here. So I was asked to be a CTM for the Area C5 contest. And in March, I started a Facebook page saying that I'm nominated for the PQD position. So the contest has already happened in the past. And then in March, I've now announced that I'm running for the PQD position. Is there a violation? So I see Lorna has answered no. Lorna, if you could unmute and share your reasoning why.
I mean, this is post the contest, as far as I can see.
Exactly. It is after the contest has concluded. And at that point of time, I had not announced that I would be running for any position. So again, according to the rule book, I'm good. But in District 102, we don't really like that when people behave this way. That's our norm in our district. So it's important for us to all recognize what are the rules and what are our norms. And if you ask me, I would rather go with the norm. Now, let's go to one of the hardest things you have to do before even running the contest. You have to build your team. Now, according to the rule book, the contest chair must find 3 particular positions, and the chief judge must find 2 particular role players. Everything else is optional. Would anyone like to take a guess what those roles are? So I've already asked 𝗔𝗫𝗺, Vinotini has spoken, so let's find someone else who hasn't had the chance to speak yet. So maybe I'll ask Mei Chin. Mi Chin. So Mi Chin, what if you had to guess what role players you must have in your contest, what do you think it would be?
I'm not sure. My first time to be the contest chair. Yeah.
All right. Would you
I'm
like
so
to
sorry.
Yes, anyway. What do you think? What have you recall seeing before?
And really have no ideas.
Then no worries, Michin.
So sorry.
No worries. That's sometimes that's why we're here to learn. Then
yeah, I
maybe,
think when I asked one person to be the chief judge, right? Then he gave me VJ and 5 VJ and plus 1 TBJ. So I'm not sure what this VJ means.
okay. So
But is that correct?
for the judge, yes. The V there stands for virtual, right? That's again something from the Zoom days. It's a virtual judge, and a TBJ is a tiebreaker judge. Basically, I will explain a bit more about that later. Thank you for that.
VJ is voting judge, right?
Voting judge, virtual judge, both are acceptable interpretations. Is during the Zoom times, a lot of people started calling the VJ the virtual judge. So yeah, but yes, voting judge is also correct. So I see Toastmaster Ravi is in the group. So Ravi, my friend, would you be able to unmute and share what roles do you think the contest chair must fill in first?
Oh, okay. Right. For the contest chair,
Yes.
the contest chair will normally appoint the timer and then the timers and the SAA and okay. Just had my shower and just came, and then it's just at the back of my head, and ballot counters.
Yeah.
All right.
And also the chief judge itself, the contest chair. The contest chair will normally invite select the chief judge, and then the chief judge will normally select the voting judges.
Yep, absolutely correct on that front. So the contest chair, their role as the contest chair is really to appoint everyone. Now, but they don't appoint, for example, the voting judges or the tiebreaker. That is the prerogative of the chief judge, whom the contest chair will then find. In some districts and in some areas and divisions, sometimes your district officer has already found a chief judge for you. And in those cases, make sure to buy your district officer a nice glass of Milo, or to give him a nice iced lemon tea, because he saved you the trouble of finding a chief judge. Now, what are the must-have roles that the contest chair must fill in? So it's the ballot counter, the timers, and the sergeant at arms. The ballot counter's role, at the club level, there's two. Once you go beyond at the district level contest, you will have three. And that's why I put 2/3. Their roles is they will receive the ballots from the voting judges, they will follow the chief judge to the holding room, and they will tabulate the results. There are always two timers. The first timer, their role is to usually record the time. So their only focus is the time and the timing lights. So as soon as they see the appropriate timing light, they need to turn on the particular timing light if they're using the box, or the cards if that's what you're using. The second timer, their role is to record down the time. What some second timer 2 also do is that they will also run a timer on from their phone, just in case timer 1's phone glitches out or the device suddenly runs out of power. At least someone is still keeping track of the time. So, but the timing that you must take is from the timer who is manning the timing lights, because that is the most accurate timing for the contest. And then finally, the sergeant at arms. You usually have two, depending on how big is your venue. You might have a third to help you with other things like escorting the contestants, helping with the audio-visual setup, etc. The optional roles are the Toastmaster of the day, the contest Toastmaster, the multimedia master, the photographer, and even F&B. Now, I know some of you are about to unmute and ask me, why is the contest Toastmaster an optional role? As per the rule book, the contest chair is expected to play the role of the contest Toastmaster and the Toastmaster of the day. However, at a club level, that's very manageable. At the area level, there's a lot of juggling that you have to do as the contest chair. At the division level, I can honestly tell you, please do not try to do this yourself. And at the district level, please do not. So you have the prerogative as the contest chair to appoint contest Toastmasters and a Toastmaster of the day to help you with your event. But at the club level, you can choose to say that it's a small thing. I will take care of all of this myself, no problem. Multimedia master. This is something that came up again when we transitioned into the virtual world, right? The multimedia master is responsible for running the different slides to show where we are in the contest. Now, this role is a role that exists because of the pandemic. And with the switch back that the area and district and division and district contests must become physical again, it is up to you. My personal recommendation is, if your venue has a good setup for a nice TV or a nice projector screen, get a multimedia master. But if your venue doesn't have it, and you have to borrow a small projector and put it in one corner where most people can't see it, then my friends, it's best to not have a multimedia master, and instead your entire crew learns how to operate without one. Photographer and videographer, if you cannot find someone, you can always ask everyone to take pictures and to post on Facebook, share in WhatsApp, upload, and then you can always get the pictures there. And food and beverage is, well, in a physical setup, we need to prepare some refreshments, maybe bottles of water. So it's good to have someone to take care of that for you. And the chief judge, five judges at the club and area level. Wait, I should probably consult the rule book. I actually don't fully remember that right now. So this is on page 10. And since I'm looking at the rule book, I will invite all of you to look at the rule book with me. So, general procedure, page number 10. At the contest, there must be equal number of voting judges. At area contest, minimum of 5 judges. At division, you then have a minimum of 7 voting judges. And at district, you have a minimum of 7 voting judges. So yes, at the division onwards, you then have to have at least 7. My recommendation to any prospective chief judge, always have more, because you'll never know when somebody has an emergency and then they're not able to make it. So it's always good to have backups. So when you want to build your team, looking back at my own experience, I would obviously the first thing you have to take note of from this term onwards is that we are going back to being physically present beyond the club level. When you assemble a team, I recommend that you must have someone in the team that you trust to tell you when you are wrong. It's not easy to find such a friend. And so those kind of friends, when they are working with you, they are willing to tell you that, Kishan, I think you're off track. Or Kishan, you better look into this because this is going to come back as a problem. In my time, that person for me was a Toastmaster by the name of JP. So whenever he's on my team, he's always 100% brutally honest with me. If he thinks I'm being silly, he will tell it to me straight. And I need that because otherwise I will get carried away. And so it's always good to have people who disagree with you, but in a constructive way, because that way you can build a good contest with your team. The other thing when you build your team is that you want to empower them to make judgment calls without you. Now, if something is not explicitly stated in the rule book, then that means it's open to anyone to decide. And I recommend that rather than everyone must come back to you as the contest chair to make the decision, allow your team members to make those decisions and they tell you what they decided. Sometimes your team members may not feel comfortable to make decisions, and that's completely fine. So in those moments, you become involved. But if they feel that they can decide without you being there, let them decide. That helps you to focus on the bigger problems, and it allows them to also contribute in helping you solve problems that will show up, because there will be plenty of things that you need to solve on contest day, from the microphones giving you issues, to video not playing, to the contestants having issues with the speaking area, to the judges coming late. A lot of things will happen during contest day. And so having your team being able to decide things without you helps you in organizing. And then my final piece of advice here is that your team will reflect your mood. So if you are a calm, firm, and encouraging person, your team will reflect that behavior back to you. Now, when I was organizing the annual conference back in 𝗓𝗲𝗺, on the second day, my awards chair, she was very panicked and she was all over the place because, again, arranging for awards, you have to make sure all the different awards are placed correctly, sequenced correctly. And so she was very uptight and she became very irritable. And so her team members also became very irritable. If I wanted to talk to any of them, they started snapping back even. And so my friend, JP, the one person to tell me the brutal truth, he pulled me aside and he said, Kishan, you need to focus on talking to your awards chair. And then I realized what the problem was. The two of us had a private conversation. I spoke with her. We had a good conversation. And then the awards chair then had a conversation with their team. and you can immediately see the entire team then switch gears, and they became closer together. They became friendlier again with everyone, and they could actually get their job done faster. So it's very important that as the leader, we set the tone that the team is going to follow. And if we are very fierce and uncompromising and not wanting to listen to their opinion, don't be surprised when you get that same behavior back from your team. It's like how parents and their children, your children will always like to imitate the behavior they see from their parents. It is the same concept here. So be calm, be firm, but be encouraging. Allow them to make decisions and have someone that you can trust to tell you the honest truth. So that takes us to the last section, which is what to do before, during, and after a contest. Now, all of this is in the rule book. This is page 24 to 28 of the contest of the speech rule book. It's called the contest chair's checklist. I've simplified it here. So you have been appointed as the contest chair. You now assemble your team. You inform, you encourage, you empowered your team. You want to liaise with the chief judge. Maybe the chief judge needs your help with printing out the forms. Maybe your chief judge needs to know the speaking area. So stay close with the chief judge throughout the contest. You have your contestant briefing. You want to brief your own team. And then it's the day of the contest. And there will be issues that will prop up, whether it's someone forgot to bring something, or whether something is missing, or whether something has broken. Issues will come up. And so then you'll have to handle that as best as you can. And so it's important, once you get that far, celebrate that success with your team. And an important final thing is, after the contest, you need to give the chief judge the details of the contestants so that the chief judge can finish filling up their forms. And with that, the contest will be completed. So all of this you'll find on page 24 to 27 of the contest rulebook. And so we come to my final 2 cents as culminating from my experience running contests, being a chief judge, and being a contestant. Simplicity. Do not be afraid to say that, let's keep it simple. Let's take away things that others normally do. As an annual conference chair, I wanted it to be a hybrid event where we would then live stream the conference throughout the 2 days. We even did our testing 1 month beforehand, and we already made sure we knew what our setup was supposed to be. But on the day of the conference, the internet was really bad. Some internet line was broken somewhere, and so we couldn't stream it really well. I made the very tough decision that I'm going to stop the online streaming because the quality was not to my liking. And so I took out that section. And I can tell you that my district director was not happy about me. My program quality director was also not happy that we did that, because we have to refund people. But I wanted it to be an experience that was of quality to what they paid for. And that leads me into my second thing, is that bad news should come from us. I know it's very icky for us to want to give bad news, but we are the contest chair. So if there is bad news that must be delivered, we should be willing to do it. For example, if there's a timer disqualification, yeah, that's okay. Let the contest Toastmaster do it. But if something bad has happened, or if you have to, for example, tell someone that they cannot contest because eligibility, it's best that it comes from you rather than giving it to your team member. The third thing is decide. If it's not in the rule book, it is open for your decision. Nobody can tell you did a wrong thing when the rule book doesn't say that it is a wrong thing. You made a decision based on what you knew at the time, and you don't regret making that decision. And finally, you prioritize. Tackle one problem at a time. So during the on the day of the contest, like I said, many things that you need to solve. If you are the type of person who prefers to write down what the problem is in a list so that you don't forget, do that. If you have someone you can delegate to solve the problem because they are capable and they know how to do it and they're confident to do it, let them solve the problem for you. That way you are free to then tackle other problems that may occur, because as a contest chair, many things will happen during that contest. Now we are running a bit out of time. I will flash the tips of the judges shortly. But I will say that being a contest chair is a very formative experience for yourself to learn how to lead a group of people to accomplish an event. You are a project manager. It is a good skill and a good experience to have, because even at work, that experience will translate itself back in ways you don't expect. You learn how to prioritize better. You learn how to negotiate better with people. You learn how to manage a team well. So the experience of going through this, I highly recommend that you try it, because you will find at the end of the other side of this endeavor, you are a different person than when you started. So as I promised, a bit of tips on judging. But at this point, I'd like to check with the timer. How are we doing in terms of time?
We are at 46 minutes currently.
Okay. So then what I'll do is I will leave the screen at this page. And I think now let's go into the Q&A. Or actually, I think I'd like to give the floor back to the Toastmaster of the evening, Pia, first. So then, Pia, I return the floor to you.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Kishan. That was a really insightful session. Before I open the floor to the question and answer session, I would actually like to take a group picture. So I would request, if possible, everyone could switch on their camera so that we could capture this moment. Okay, thank you, everyone. We'll just wait for like 30 seconds. Okay, I would request our Zoom master, Toastmaster Aditya, to assist me with the picture, please.
Yeah, I'll be taking the picture. So, okay. Just waiting for everyone to turn their cameras on. I think it's loading a little late on my laptop. Wait. Okay. So in 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. One more. In 3, 2, 1. All right, and one freestyle. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Aditya. With this, we will dive straight into our question and answer session, which will be moderated by our question master, once again, Toastmaster Aditya.
All right, thank you so much, Toastmaster of the evening. So, yeah, I'm Aditya and I'll be handling the question answer session. I think first we can have a look at the questions that were put up in the chat box. So we can start with Toastmaster Claire, who would like to know things to take note between club versus area versus division level contest.
Okay, things to take note versus between club to area to division. So the new rule book, from club to area, you have to be in person. So all the role players and contestants must be in person. From area to division, the change will happen in the number of judges that must be a number of voting judges that the chief judge has to find. So it'll go up from 5 judges to 7 voting judges plus the tiebreaker judge. So As far as changes that happen, those are the obvious changes. And then when it comes to organizing the contest, then something else that will change is then you're talking to more and more people, because you organizing the division contest, there's always a much bigger audience compared to an area contest. So then you have to think of the number of people you can that you should expect that will come for the contest.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. So the next question is by Toastmaster Vinodini. She is asking, is it mandatory for the contestants to use the latest version of the speaker's certification of eligibility and originality form?
I would say yes. It's best to always use the latest version of the form, because what can sometimes happen is some of the terms may change. Now, with the eligibility form, there is no diamonds to tell you whether something has changed or not. So it's best when you go to the Toastmaster website, there you can actually download everything as part of a speech contest toolkit. So if you go into the Toastmasters International page, you want to go to the resource library. And if you search for the particular type of contest speech, you can then find a zip file that has all the relevant materials. So if I search for table topics, so eventually what I will find is actually a contest kit for the table topics contest. And so if you download this one file will have all the latest versions of the documents that you need. So so that you can see here, you have the latest results form, the rule book, the tally sheet, and they even put in the certificate of participations and contestant profiles. So I always recommend come here and just grab the latest speech contest kit. You can even search for this phrase instead, or you can put in the name of the contest.
All right. I think that answers the question. We have Toastmaster Pia who's raised her hand. You can go ahead.
Good evening, distinguished Toastmaster Kishan. I actually wanted to know that in a humorous speech and table topic contest, is it the role of the organizing chair to decide the table topic, or is it the CJ? Because I think there's a little bit of gray area.
That is a good question. The answer, I remember reading it in the rule book before. So to be sure, let me go to my trusted friend, the rule book. So even if you don't remember everything off the top of your head, you always go to our good friend, the rule book. So this is timing, protest, props, contest rules for international speech, contest rules for evaluation contests. Yep. So the table follows all the rules outlined in the general rules. Everyone gets the same topic, must be of general nature. The topic is selected by the contest chair. Now, another caveat that comes here, right? So in the general rules, we talked about how you can delegate the role of the contest Toastmaster to a dedicated contest Toastmaster. So then when you do that, you also have the option of letting them take over this particular role. So if you go to under the general rules, which is, I believe, page 10, when you elect contest Toastmaster, they are basically supporting your role as the contest chair. So then they can step in for you to pick the topic.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
So unfortunately for chief judges, it's not you. Yes, Ravi.
DTM Kishan, I have a question. Now, I wish to seek clarification on the eligibility item 9 and 9A. Okay. Item 9 says that now I'm a member of multiple clubs.
Yes.
In different areas. So according to item 9, it says that I can or I am permitted to contest in all the clubs that I am eligible for as a paid member. But item 9, let's say that when I contest, okay, in all the clubs that I'm a member, let's say I win and I represent the clubs to the area level. But at the area level, in item 9b says that I am not allowed to contest more than in more than one area. Now, I see that, okay, let's say as a winner, then I will have to drop off back, right?
So I can share a personal experience here, right? So couple of years back, I was a member of 2 clubs. Now, this was my home club, 𝗲𝗂𝗃, which is in area C2, and another club, Toastmasters, in area C3. So there was 1 year where I won the humorous speech, and that back then was humorous speech and evaluation. I won it in both clubs. So I had to choose which route am I going to now take. Do I go under area C2 or do I go under area C3? Now, the key phrase to look out for, right, is more than one area speech contest of a given type. So what that means, right, is when we do in our District 102, we like to combine 2 contests together. Now, those are actually 2 types of contests. There's a humorous speech contest and there's an evaluation contest. So you now have the choice of, and this is what I did, I chose to represent the humorous speech under area C2, and I chose to be the evaluation contestant under area C3. So then that was how I split it, because then I am not participating in humorous speech in both clubs, and I'm not doing the same for evaluation. So I hope that answers the question.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. I got no other choice but to do that as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I have another question, if I'm permitted to. All right. This is about the chief judge, the contestants' eligibility. Now, last term for the international speech contest, 𝗖𝗍, and evaluation, a contestant representing one club, she won the international speech as well as the evaluation contest. So she came into the area level contest, but upon rechecking the eligibility at the area level, we found that the contestant is ineligible. Why? Because the contestant has not completed a level 2. In fact, when we checked, the contestant had not even registered for her pathway itself. But the contestant had delivered speeches right up to level 2, completed level 2 speeches. But there were some technical issues where the member did not even register for her pathway itself in the first place, which means that she is ineligible. So what I wanted to ask is, if a contestant had already completed, but the contestant has no proof of completing, because the contest only has the evaluation form, and that evaluation form was printed from Google, but is not from the pathway itself, and the contestant does not have the certificate, because the clause, the rule book clearly says that the contestant must have the level 2 certificate, completion certificate. So do you think I could have allowed that member based on the evaluation form itself as a proof?
I'm afraid not, because the thing about the evaluation forms is that they are completion of a particular speech. However, it's for the to actually say that you've completed a level 2, it needs to reflect on your Toastmaster profile, because that's where when other people are going to check later on, they are also going to find the same problem with eligibility. Now, and you also pointed it out really well, right? That you checked that you found that they didn't even register for pathways. So even though they have done the speeches, because it's not been submitted, the club officers have not given their electronic acknowledgement that you've completed level 1 and 2. And so that's where because of us, because we are now very digitalized in Toastmasters, you are from the eyes of the organization, you are not eligible to contest for the international speech. And so that's why it's important that whatever you've completed, you must submit it online, because part of that submission is, as you, the member, you submit, the club officer is then signing off that you have completed. So if that doesn't happen, then you're right in the decision that the contestant couldn't contest.
Thank you.
All right, so
Thank
we'll
you.
just be heading towards the chat box questions, and then we can maybe go to Toastmaster Anne's question. So this is from Toastmaster Lorna. She's asking, if I'm a member in another district, can I be an official if I'm contesting in another district?
If you are a member in another district, you can only contest in the districts and areas where you are a member. So long as your club is a member of that district and you've gone through the club area and division level contest, yes, you can compete across multiple districts. That being said, similar to the example I gave with Ravi, right? If you are competing for humorous speech in District 102, for example, then you in District 51, you can only compete for the evaluation contest, because to compete in the humorous speech over there is also considered a violation.
All right. Next from Toastmaster Vinodini, if Club A that has only one contestant for humorous speech and 2 contestants for table topics, can the club have a joint contest with Club B, or can Club A go straight to area level?
So if you're going to do a contest, Vinodini, you will have to do the well, that's where there's a level where it's up to you. Now, because it's 2 types of contests, you can choose to say that, okay, for this particular contest, we are just sending a representative. And for the other, you're going to do a contest. And because another club is running the same contest, you want to do it together, but your contestants are judged separately and their contestants are judged separately. That is fine. The reason that is fine is because at the club level, it is not mandatory that a contest must be held. At the area level onwards, you must hold a contest, even if there's only a single contestant. So at the club level, you have, yes.
Yeah, Kishan, my apologies to interject you. This is an actual scenario that I'm going through. I'm the contest chair for a joint contest. So Club A has a good number of contestants for HS and TT, whereas Club B, unfortunately, they only have 1 contestant for HS and 2 contestants for TT. So some of the team, the role players, they have personally texted me and asked me to suggest that, it's not, you can actually have the option not to have a joint contest under the power or under the empowerment as the contest chair. However, I told them that it's not written in the rule book. So I'm nobody to say no to the contestant, because that's their journey. However, I would like to echo from what you have just said, being simple and also decide. If it's not in the rule book, you can actually decide, because the contest is held on a long weekend. It's on a day after Awal Muharram. People are ditching their holidays and coming for the contest. And I believe we have to be mature and tell the thing that we have to save time, because people have to rush back, all those things. So my question, do I get to decide whether the contest can be held joint or separately?
As the contest chair for both, you have the authority to decide whether it's a joint contest or a separate contest. And like what you said here, right? For one particular contest type, you don't want to have the other club participate, but then for the other contest type, you want the club to participate. You can do that. It's just that it does feel a bit from the outside. Some people may say that it feels messy, but as a contest chair, especially because you are organizing both contests, you do have you can run your contest like that.
Thank you. I got my answer. Thank you.
Excuse
Alright.
me, 𝗕𝗂𝗃𝗃. Okay, I think I would like to address to what Vinodini had actually raised up. It is about my club as well as the club that okay, the two clubs. Now,
Yeah.
okay, it was already discussed between the two club presidents earlier
Okay.
itself that we wanted to have this a joint club contest. But anyway, I think to her knowledge as well, that I just wanted to bring to her to the information that the club, that the other club that was supposed to be actually joining in the contest as well, now as we have already decided to withdraw because we only have one contestant for the HS as well as the two contestants for table topics, which means that they are all automatically qualifying to the area level. And so it will only be one club. So,
Yep.
And the other thing is that we have been organizing these joint contests at club levels as well as area levels all the while. So I think it is up to the club level, the club exco itself decides, and then the club exco decides to appoint the club the contest chair. So it is already well planned and ahead. So now, as the president of one of the clubs, we have already discussed with the exco, our own exco, and we have decided to withdraw from the joint contest. Thank you. I think that will be answering Vinodini's or whatever that she has been bringing up. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Ravi. And I think ultimately it's always best that everyone has a discussion together to come to a consensus. So that's part of the role as the contest chair as well. We build consensus about how do we want to approach contests. So back to you, Aditya.
Yeah, okay, thank you so much. So next we have a question from Toastmaster Claire. Okay, and this will be one last question, but after this session, we can wait for a while so that any other questions can be answered. So, okay, this from Toastmaster Claire. For protest, any protest must be lodged with the chief judge and or contest chair prior to the contest being adjourned. The definition of adjourned refers to when contest chair announce the contest has ended or any other definition.
Yeah. So that's a very good question, Claire. In fact, I remember myself and a few others, we had very lengthy discussions about what does it mean for the contest to be adjourned. Is it adjourned when the results are announced and everyone goes home? Or is it adjourned once the chief judge and the ballot counters leave to go tabulate the results? So the contest rulebook has added some clarity. They've added some clarity about the general procedure. And so the adjourning of a contest, and I need to find that in the book. So just give me a second. Okay. So when we talk about the conclusion of a contest, right? So first thing they say here, winners must be announced before the end of the contest. If the contest is the only event taking place, winners must be announced before the contest adjourns. Now, the reason this exists here is because, for example, in the division contest or the district contest is usually done during annual conference. So during the annual conference, we like to announce the winners at the very end of the annual conference or at the end of the day. So then the winner So then the contest is considered adjourned, even before the winners are announced. Now, there's a few interpretations of this particular rule, right? Because when they say the contest is the only event taking place, some argue that the humorous speech and table topics contest is two different events because it's two different contest types. So you can, by right, I can adjourn the contest even as soon as the chief judge and the ballot counters leave the room. So that's where they added this particular line, because again, a lot of confusion. So if there are multiple contests taking place, which is what we all normally do in District 102, each contest must be officially adjourned prior to the beginning of the contest, even if the winners have not yet been announced. So this particular line came into the rule book, I believe, 1 to 2 years ago. So to answer that question, Claire, if you are running multiple contests, then the contest is adjourned prior to the beginning of the contest. So depending on how you've organized the contest, if you're doing contest, winner announcement, contest, winner announcement, then the contest is only adjourned after you announce the winners. But if you're doing humorous speech contest, then table topics contest, and then you announce both sets of winners, you can adjourn the humorous speech contest before you start the table topics contest. So I know very lengthy explanation, but it's because it's a very there are rule lawyers in Toastmasters. I am one of them, and so we like to get into friendly debates about what do we consider is right. So just sharing what us rule nerds do.
Yep. So even though if it's an area joint contest, I adjourn, let's say D2 and D3, I adjourn D2 HS contest, then I proceed with D3 HS contest. Then I adjourn that. So there are like multiple time of adjourn the contest. Okay, got it. Thank you so much. Very clear.
Right. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Kishan, for answering all the questions, and thanks to everyone for making this session so engaging. But yes, once again, we will be waiting for a bit after the session for everyone who's got questions yet unanswered. And with that, I would like to pass the floor to our Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Priya.
Thank you so much to our question master, Toastmaster Aditya, and thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Kishan, for answering all the questions. With that, we shall now move towards the end of our session today, for which I would like to invite our organizing chair, distinguished Toastmaster Dr. Som, for his closing address.
I want to thank all of you for coming and making this event lively. I know this is a technical workshop, so we won't expect people in hundreds. All those who are planning to organize contests will definitely be benefiting from this session. I definitely want to thank my team, Pia, Sathi, and Aditya, for helping me out and getting this process going on, this workshop. Many thanks to Kishan for very enlightening insights on all the aspects. And I love the way how you objectively answer by showing the rule book and to the point. That's how the thing it should be. So very objective and scientific and systematic. Well done, Kishan.